For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, and welcome back to Sex, Love, and the Self. We're coming in a little late this week. I took another trip to a nearby city because I'm considering moving out of Bogota and trying my luck in a new place. Mostly because I want the change, the new experiences, the new challenges that will come with that. Also, the new city has lots more sunshine, and I am missing the sunshine. But the trip itself was challenging at best. Rumi got sick, my friend that I was traveling with was sick, I got sick, there was a small fender bender in the parking lot, and we were turned away at the entrance to the city because of pico y placa, which is a restriction based on license plate numbers that applies to the major cities here in Colombia, just, to help keep traffic down. So all the appointments that we had scheduled to see apartments on that day had to be moved to the next day, which incidentally was Saturday, and several of the people with whom we had appointments couldn't accommodate us. So after 4 days of all this chaos, as we're leaving the city, of course, my mind is spinning about what all of this means. And of course, I went immediately to the possibility that I'm not supposed to move to this place, or that I'm not supposed to be with this person, or that I shouldn't have bought this car, just on and on and on, as I always do. And that brought to mind these conversations that have come up lately for me around the idea of manifesting what we want versus allowing what is meant to happen, i.e., what our soul selves want. What we really want, the deep parts of us really want, what our God force energies really want in our lives. Because in the idea of manifestation, we talk a lot about focusing on matching the energy of what we want. But I think so often for so many of us, we get caught up in the details. And I think that's where manifestation coaches and all kinds of books and other materials have come into play to help people over the years. Because the idea is to connect more to that overarching energy, the way that it will feel when you're rich, for instance, not the idea of how you're going to get there. It's so easy for us to want financial stability and drift down the road of imagination into how that will come. We'll win the lottery, or we'll get a promotion, or there'll be a new job, or we'll get a raise, or finally we'll have all the success selling our custom-made bookmarks. And we stop feeling the way that it will feel to have financial security, which is, of course, where we really need to focus. Because our soul selves, our deeper selves, our divine God force energy selves will take it from there. They will pick up that ball, sort of, that we've thrown out there in the world, that desire for something, to create something in our lives. They will pick up that ball and bring it back to us with the experiences and the versions, the details that are infinitely more well-suited to exactly what we want and need to create in our lives, what we need to grow, the things that we agreed to before we ever got to this planet, that we wanted to learn, that we wanted to experience. I truly believe that deep down, our most heartfelt desires exist because we are meant to have them. They exist, we have those desires because our soul self wants those experiences, wants to have those things. And of course, everybody wants money. But the thing that they actually want, I think, the thing that we all actually want, is financial security. And that can look like all kinds of different things for all kinds of different people. But I think it's important for us to really take a moment to check in with our desires and decide, is that something that we really want? Or is that something that we've been conditioned to believe that we want? Because yes, it's easy to say that everybody wants money, but there are people for whom money is not nearly as important as peaceful relationships. There are people who would absolutely give up financial security if it meant they could have a child. People who long ago gave up financial security to have a life of adventure. people that don't believe that there is financial security in traditional money systems. My point is, our deeper desires, our deepest desires, are individual and unique. And yes, we're meant to have these things that we do deeply desire if we deeply desire them. I think that the biggest challenge for most of us in efforts of manifestation is that idea of drifting over into the details. Because the actual problem there, the real problem in the details, is that it means that we don't trust. It means that we have to figure out all of the little hows, that we have to try to arrange everything in the whole effing universe to coordinate bringing what we really want and need into our lives. Which of course just isn't true. And additionally, the magnet version of us, that God force energy, that divine part of us that deeply wants these things, because it is an energy and exists on an energetic level, it will magnetize to us so much more quickly. Our energy bodies, our soul level beings, are infinitely more well suited to bring everything that we want and need into our lives because they are energy. They act as a magnet. They attract to us what we want and need, if we can allow that. If we can trust and let the details come in a way that is congruent with our soul selves and the growth that we want while we're here. Recently, a dear friend of mine fell ill, and she was very concerned if it was something serious. It looked like it was something serious. And in her belief system, an external God force energy would help to cure her if only she could believe that that energy wanted the best for her, wanted her to be healthy and happy, wanted her to be well and whole. And I don't disagree with that. I absolutely believe that the soul versions of ourselves, the divine energies that exists within us, wants us to have everything that we need to be healthy, happy, and abundant. Absolutely. The thing is, we project onto ourselves and our lives what that looks like. We've already decided what healthy looks like, what happy looks like, what abundant looks like. And often those definitions are actually gathered up from looking at the people around us, the people that share our lives, the communities in which we live. There are infinitely happy people that have absolutely no health security of any kind. There are deeply connected, loving people that have no financial security. My point is, yes, I can agree that God, divine energy, wants my friend to be healthy and well. But what that looks like might be totally different for her than it is for that energy being or that collective energy. Her version of well looks undamaged. Her version of healthy and whole looks perfect from the outside. Like her body won't visibly begin to fail from the outside. And for that God force energy, that divine energy, perhaps the healthy, whole version of her is the one that suffers through damaging illness, is the one that suffers through trauma of some kind in the context of her health. Perhaps healthy and whole for that divine energy requires her to live through this experience of illness and the stress associated with the concern that it's serious. And I don't mean to imply that it's her fault or responsibility in any way that she's ill. That's not my point. My point is, when we get wrapped up in the details of how we want these things in our lives to look, I think we actually create barriers for ourselves. On a soul level, that God force energy within us may need us to experience trauma in order for us to be inspiring healers for others around us. Perhaps that divine God force energy needs us to experience poverty in order for us to learn how to appreciate wealth. Perhaps we need to experience loss and sadness in order to understand what is joy. Perhaps we need trauma to connect. Perhaps we need poverty to see how wealthy we already are without actual money. Perhaps we're lonely because our soul self needs us to see how much we're actually loved by ourselves, by our soul selves, that divine power within us, before we can appreciate real love in another context. And I've talked about this before, the idea of getting kind of caught up in the details. I think in this context, in this iteration, my point is more about trust. Our ability to trust that our soul selves will get us to the things that we want and need in our lives. Our divine God force energy will draw to us the experiences that we want and need to have. Yes, we will have, because we are destined to have, as perfect God force beings. wealth, health, and happiness. But that might not look like we think it will. That concept came forth in another conversation I was having about relationships as well. And I find it interesting, the kind of crossover here, because in our relationships, I think we often do essentially the same thing. We have this beautiful idea of what our relationships look like, and we know we deserve to be in healthy, stable, authentically loving relationships. We know that. But we've decided they should look a certain way, or that our partner should look a certain way. And we end up criticizing our partners or trying to control their behavior in order to make our relationship look like what we thought it should. Or we reject potential partners because they don't look like we thought they should. And is that really trust? When we're perpetually trying to control the outcome of something, when we're perpetually trying to control the details, is there any trust at all in that? Why do we struggle so much to release the details, the contexts, the how of manifesting these beautiful things in our lives, when ultimately that's limiting? We could just relax, understand that we want and need something, drive ourselves toward it on an energetic level, and let the details come about how they will. Let our higher selves bring us the versions that are right for us, because chances are our God force energy beings are going to bring us a version of this thing that we want or need that's so much better than we could possibly imagine. And in the context of relationships, if we can relax a little bit and see the ways that our partner is loving us in the perfect way that they know how, communicate our desires and needs, yes, absolutely, we have to be able to do that. Also, we have to be able to understand that this is a human person with flaws and their own wants and needs, their own desires in the relationship. What we can do then is see how these things intersect and trust that how we feel in the relationship is a clear guide for us, and that our God force beings and energies will bring us the details that we need in the other contexts, in the other elements. There are literally millions of ways that what we want can be true in our lives, that what we want in our relationships can be already there. But if we've decided it looks a different way, we won't be able to see it. And of course, we can't ever know what our divine selves, our God force energies want exactly. Of course. But I think they're always guiding us. And I think that we can tune into the way that we feel, and that can help us to make these decisions and move towards the outcomes that we want without worrying about the details. We have to be able to trust that our choices and decisions will lead us there, the places that we want to go, because our soul selves, our divine force energies are at work bringing the details, the path into alignment. So, in the context of my move, for instance, yes, a lot of stuff went wrong. And a part of me thought that it meant that I was not meant to be there, that if I was meant to make this move to the city, that it would be easy. I thought that for a long time. I've believed that for a long time, and I don't disagree with that belief system now. But the thing is, if things happening easily is the metric, so to speak, for us having accurately followed our divine energy, our God force, soul self desires, then our whole lives would be easy. And how would we grow? Yes, I'm certain there is a lesson somewhere in all of the little minor tragedies that happened while I was traveling and looking for this new place to live. But ultimately, the truth is, I liked it there. I liked the way I felt there. And yes, maybe the move will be hard, but maybe that's exactly what I need. Maybe that kind of challenge, those affronts to my comfort, will help me to grow. Maybe that's the place I'll find the love I want or the success that I want, because I'll stop thinking of it coming to me here and I'll open myself up to it coming to me in a different way, in a different place. Yes, I believe that we should listen to the messages the universe is always giving us. But I also think that the real metric, the deep knowing that we want to have in our lives about all the decisions that we make, comes from being able to trust how we feel. Dial into the truth of our emotional selves, our divine selves, and understand, do we feel good about this or that decision? Because there's really no way ever to know if the choices that we make will lead us where we want to go. We can see that they might logistically, absolutely. And we can believe that. And they may even often come out that way because of the way that they look logistically. But we never know. We will never be able to know. And isn't there kind of a fun in that, a freedom in that? So I say we point ourselves toward the desire. And if we feel good in the process, even if it doesn't look like it's laying out logically, we go on anyway and trust that our soul selves will bring us everything that we want and need, and be open to the reality that it'll look a lot different than we might have thought, but that's part of the fun. If you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to subscribe, and don't forget to join us on Patreon, where you can support the podcast and get access to all of the deeper dives, the insights, the hows, the little tools and tricks that I use to get through this crazy, ridiculous life with as much intention and spirituality as possible. And if you're interested in doing some personal growth of your own, or if you're just curious and would like to explore some of the materials that I offer, my website is full of them. Books, workshops, personal coaching sessions, all kinds of stuff at authorjacquelinelenade.com. And I offer all kinds of customized products as well. Custom meditations, classes, tutorials. And if you'd like to collaborate, you can find all my connections across all the social media platforms on my Linktree account. That's linktr.ee/Jacqueline Lanae, JACLYNLANAE. Hit me up over there and we'll design something specifically for you together. Have a great week. Thanks for listening.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.